Good grain, everyone, again. It's another wonderful day here in the Emerald City. And as of this recording, the Mariners now have a 3-2 series lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. And this is great. This is as far into the playoffs as the Mariners have ever gotten. So congrats to them after, playing pretty bad the last two games. Pull it out. Big win today. So that's great. And we're going to move on to our week 7 picks. And I'm already behind the 8 ball this week, like last week, but in a good way. I had picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, and it was a very fun victory for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I just like it when the Steelers lose. I'm still bitter. I still hold a grudge. So moving on, it's been tough pickings. I've been doing pretty good overall the last 2 weeks, but we've seen a lot of upsets and curious outcomes, especially what happened with that the Bengals and Steelers game last night. The first up game is the London early game, Los Angeles Rams against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars in this one. Rams didn't look that great against the Ravens. A little beat up right now. There's more hope. I think the Rams could be. They've looked really good most of the season. So they could be, they've only had a couple. They barely lost to the Eagles and barely lost in overtime to the Niners. They could, they definitely have the look of a team that could be a very tough game every week and win most of them. Jaguars looked, very beatable against us. It was a very solid win. I think they're better than they looked against us, and I want our win to be a little more special, a little more, high status. Not that strength of victory means anything in the NFL. I keep telling myself that because Cardinals have fallen apart after we beat them. It's sometimes a bit mortifying, but it'll be. I think it's going to be a good game regardless. But I'm fingers crossed, the Jaguars win it. The next game is the New Orleans Saints against the Chicago Bears. The Saints have a good chance of making this tough. I think Spencer Rattler is a solid, at best, quarterback's not going to lose games, and there's a few teams who could really use that. Bears looked okay against the Commanders, but the Commanders are a good team, so I think the Bears should take this one. They've been looking really good lately, but I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Bears kind of got lucky Monday night. Just the ball bounced in their favor a good amount. But I think I pointed something very interesting there together in Chicago. Next up, we have an absolute horrible. It's going to be horrible. Just not. Both teams are 1-5, and apparently it's going to be really bad, windy weather. Between the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, they have a really good defense, and they have the young rookie running back. So if it's going to be really windy, I think those two advantages give them the they should take this pretty easily. But the Dolphins, they have a good amount of talent still on their team, but they're just they seem to be emotionally falling apart. So this I think the Browns pretty clearly going to win this one. Next up, we have the New England Patriots against the Tennessee Titans. They just fired their coach, and everything on paper should be the Patriots to destroy. But I think that is what's going to happen. Sometimes you get the feeling that with an interim coach, the other team will be a little complacent or not sure what to look for, but the Patriots have been really solid this year. So I'm gonna, they're just going to handle business very easily in this one, is my prediction. And next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs look really good against the Lions, or the Lions look really bad. I can't make up my mind. But I think the Chiefs are a really good team. They're still a really good team on paper. They've had a lot of discouraging losses this year, but early on. But I think their overall vibes are that of one of the top teams in the league. And the Raiders look a little plucky. I mean, they beat the Titans, and who might be the worst team in the league right now, or one up there as the worst. So I'm hoping, I want Geno Smith to have a respectable rest of the season. I want him to claw back. He's a really tough time. So I gotta give it to the Chiefs. I just don't see the Raiders figuring it out, at least not this week. Hopefully there's progress. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Minnesota Vikings. Carson Wentz is starting, from what I hear. I'm going to give it to them. I think it's going to be a close game regardless. The Eagles, I don't think are as bad. Those are two tough losses. Back to back, I think they're going to be geared up. I think they're going to come back firing, maybe not on all cylinders, but more than they have been recently. And the Vikings, their quarterback situation is pretty tough right now. It's going to the upset. It's a weird season. Eagles are better on paper, and I think they're going to figure it out. I don't think they're the type of team to be, to completely mentally fall apart. But that Giants game was pretty tough. Let's see if they can. I think they will come back. But I think the Vikings take advantage of the situation. I think it's going to be a close one, maybe a late field goal or something like that. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers against the New York Jets. Now, the Panthers, I thought, were pretty bad, and they beat the Cowboys. They're coming back. They're looking very respectable. A lot of that is Rico Dowdle. I'm a big fan, had him in fantasy a couple years ago when he was with the Cowboys, and I thought that he was going to, back then, be one of those guys who just come out of nowhere and became a step right back. I was just, as usual, a year or two early for those type of predictions, and the team too early as well, as it turns out. But he has been just destroying things. Running over 200 yards multiple times. I think they keep it up, of course, against the 0-6 Jets, who just are off. It just looks very bad. I think the Jets aren't as bad as they looked against the Broncos, at least offensively, but I have to see it. I can't pick them until they give me something a little more. After last week, I just staying away from them until they show me something, anything, really. Next up, we have the New York Giants against the Denver Broncos. And this is going to be a fun game, I think. Denver has a really great defense. And enough good things going on offense. So on paper, they should handle this pretty easily. I think the Giants, though, I believe I'm picking them to win just because it's a crazy season. And crazy things are happening, and Denver did not look good against the Jets. They only won by 2 points. And how bad the Jets were playing. Maybe it's just playing overseas, But I'm going to give it to the Giants. Again, who am I? What do I know? I'm just some guy who's wearing a lot of green. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts against the Los Angeles Chargers. I got to go with the Colts because they're 5-1, and the Chargers have looked pretty miserable. I know they have a lot of injuries. And before that, at the beginning of the season, they had some big wins. They're still 4-2. That's I think this is going to be a close game, regardless. Picking the Colts, but I'm hopeful. The Chargers, they have a lot of good things going from them. They're a fun team, and I wish them luck. So I'll be fine if they pull it out. They were one of those teams that I feel like everyone is just crapping on a little too much. And look, it was after they lost to the Giants, who had not won a game and looked really bad the start of the season. The Giants have won 2 games and are looking pretty good. So, maybe, again, with this season, you can't really set in stone what anyone's kind of position in the league is. So, part of me is actually now talking myself into picking the Chargers, but I'm going to stay with the Colts. And maybe that I will regret that later, but who knows. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders against the Dallas Cowboys. And Commanders did not look that good against the Bears, but the Bears could be a good team. And so I think they will win because Cowboys, again, they lost to what might not be a bad Carolina Panthers team. And they have a lot of weapons on offense. This could be a high-scoring game because the Commanders still have some good. I know Terry McLaurin may not play, so who knows? Actually, I think this is going to be a good, close game. 2 divisional rivals don't like each other. Let's stick with the Commanders, but not again. This is a crazy season. I don't know what to feel about it. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers against the Arizona Cardinals. Gotta go with the Packers here because the Cardinals have just really, even though they fought pretty valiantly against the Colts, made it close. It's just and the Green Bay Packers, blew that game against. I'm sure they were sick of hearing about it. Blowing that game against the Browns earlier this year, but I think the Pack. This is the kind of game I think the Packers just take care of. Maybe it's not a splashy win, but I think their defense will actually hold Arizona to a low amount. Yeah. Again, not thrilled. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons against the San Francisco 49ers. I really want the Falcons to win. They look really good. They just beat the Bills. And the 49ers are from a, physical standpoint, all their injuries are falling apart in that regards. But they're still 4-2. And, they held up pretty well against the Bucs last week. So I have the 49ers winning. I'm going to go with the Falcons because their defense looks good this year. And, they have Bijan Robinson and Drake London both playing really well. They're getting points. And that shutout loss of the Panthers earlier this year may not, the Panthers have won a couple of games in a row, maybe not as bad as it looked back then. So, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think they're rising. At the same time, the Niners are falling. And, of course, I would love it if the way that my board is looking, all 3 NFC West opponents of the Seahawks are losing. That's great personally for me. But the Niners, again, even with all their injuries, they're still 4-2. They still have enough weapons to make this close. So even with all the injuries, they're still, fighting spirit there, unfortunately. Next up, we have 2 Monday night games. Very late one for us. But the first one is probably the best game of the week. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Detroit Lions. And the Lions did not, I know they had some injuries. And that punch by that guy, Brian Branch, at the end of the game against the Chiefs, looks bad, looks sloppy. I think they're going to come back, and maybe some guys will come back, will be healthy. I think it's going to be, again, a really fun, close game. I think that I have the Bucs winning because they're on fire, but they have a lot of injuries. Mike Evans might be coming back, but Bucky Irving is still out. Who knows about the injuries? But right now, I'm just going to go with the hot hand, and the Bucs have looked like the best team in the league lately. And finally, game I'm most psyched up about, got the Houston Texans against the Seattle Seahawks Monday night. Texans are 2-3 and don't look that great, but they have actually probably one of the best defenses in the league. And CJ Stroud is still a talented receiver. They got Nico Collins, Joe Mixon. They have a lot of talent on offense. They don't have an offensive line. So I hope we don't get complacent with our pass rush, because we had 7 sacks against the Jaguars last week, but the weeks before that hasn't been too spectacular in that department. So we really, in case our defense against our offense doesn't look good against that good Texans defense, and we haven't really been able to get the run game going in the last few weeks. So I can see avenues for the Texans winning, but I'm a Seahawks fan, for life. I'm gonna have them win this game. It's going to be one of those games that was probably ugly and a few mistakes in the first half. But hopefully they, at halftime make some adjustments, and again get after the weak offensive line for the Texans and get a win here. And that's it for the games this week. So just we have to wait an extra day for Monday night, and we'll see how it all goes. Go Hawks.